Super chat says AZ's voice is next to I'm sorry, AZ's voice next to Nas really is the problem. AZ don't have Nas's voice because technical rapping wise, he might be better rhyme scheme wise. 007 with the super chat. Shout out 007 in the building. He says, name another rap duo that would give Nas and AZ work. I love all the AZ focus here. Nas definitely invigorated him on that single. You can hear it in the beginning part on Fever mixed into in the back part of the song. For sure. I mean, is there a duo that you would put up against Nas and A? I'm going
Like
Styles and
what?
Jada.
Like on some rhyming stuff?
Oh, we talking about just straight up pure bar for bar? It's
I'm
tough.
about to say, because here's the thing though. I mean, the 10 songs, the 10, I'm about to say, I don't know how many songs they've done together now. It's probably like 10 to 12. It's probably about 15 songs they've done together. No, you can put those 15 songs up against like almost any duo song. I think the only duo rhyme wise that comes to mind that has better songs might be Ray and Ghost.
From a chemistry standpoint, this is where I rank it. I'm going Jada Styles. I'm going Ray and Ghost. I'm going Method Man and Redman. And I pause because I don't know, man. The chemistry of Method Man and Redman could supersede Ray
The
and Ghost.
chemistry could, but do the songs.
No, the songs don't. And I'm a person who loves Blackout. Like I know
Yeah.
Blackout word for word. But
Like I don't know, like the flyest, how you living? Life's a bitch, phone tap.
I think
Ooh,
Ghost and Ray probably song for song are the best duo.
if we're talking about the quality of the songs, it's
Yeah.
Ray and Ghost.
Unofficial
If we're
duo, I
talking,
guess you could
if we're
say.
talking about chemistry, it's Meth and Red.
You think
But
so?
Nas and yeah. Chemistry is Method Man and Redman, in my opinion. But
Somebody mentioned Black Star.
007, meaning he's talking bar for bar.
If we're talking bar for bar, what do you think Black Star? I mean, you got AZ over Talib as a lyricist?
Yes.
Hmm.
I, I, he's got more work than most, Mike. I actually got him over most lyrically too.
Ooh. Mad
Yeah.
Max with the super chat says AZ rhymes more like pun to me than Nas. I was thinking that when you were spitting those bars, Coop.
I was
He
actually
says,
thinking more Cool G rap.
well, both of them rhyme like Cool G Rap. He says, I don't see the Nas similarity outside of them being the cool, smooth guys. AZ rhymes like a smoother big pun to me. Hmm.
I think he raps like a smoother Cool G rap.
Is
Like
there a little bit of
where
Kane in
Cool
there
G
too?
rap is choppy when he delivers words like that. How about this? I think he has Cool G rap's wordplay, but some of Kane's delivery, and I
Okay.
think that's where Nas differ. Like Nas has Cool G raps. Listen, approach.
Yeah. Colin King with the super chat says Drake and Rick Ross got better chemistry. What do you think about that? You think Drake and Ross got that level of chemistry?
I think they do.
I think
I've been
that
going through some Ross Drake records, Mike. They got some bangers.
the
They got
thing
some bangers.
about
A
Drake
lot
and
of bangers.
Ross,
It's a
thing,
hit fest.
thing about Drake and Ross, they have great chemistry with everybody. And so when they have chemistry with each other, it's like you got, I guess you could say, the most unselfish players being unselfish with one another.
That's because they're not elite lyrical rhyme slayers in the traditional sense, like a AZ or a Black Thought. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, there's not a
So
person that Rick Ross doesn't make good music with, to be real.
know how I feel about Scotty Beam.
Yeah, and Drake just adjusts very well anyway. But yeah, I was thinking Scotty Beam as well. And then we can also look at, isn't he like the only feature on Daytona outside of Ye? So hard
Yeah, hard
piano,
piano.
like
He's on the other joint him and Pusha did was tough too. Hold on.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He's on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I mean, if
yeah.
we look at it, I think that
Devil in a New Dress is his coming out party as
it
an
really
MC.
is
Yeah.
as a force out here. And when you
Yeah.
look at an MC that Jay might have done the most work with in recent time, outside of doing an album with Kanye, I think he's made more songs with Ross than anybody.
Ross is a great team player. You know how I feel about John with Lil Wayne.
Yeah. That's why Ross in a versus, man, he
No, he's a
tough.
problem.
Yeah.
I told
He's
him he's a
damn near
problem.
unbeatable. Like,
He's a problem. And he's like, he wasn't joking when he said, I got a 20 piece for somebody else. I was looking at the list of songs. Like, Mike, he only picked like 5 of the songs out of the 20 that I thought he was going to use. And I was like, yeah, he got another 20. I was like, I'm sitting on 15 of them.
yeah, man, 2 Chainz is my guy, man. I love 2 Chainz. I think 2 Chainz is underrated for a lot of people, but he gave Chainz that work, man. I don't think Chainz did himself the best favors. I don't think he played the best records. And when he played the hook for a fucking problem, I was like, no, man, don't do that.
A lot of people would have, yeah.
Yeah, why
A
this
lot of people
nigga
would have
Rick
suffered
Ross
that
is
fate.
sitting
A
there
lot of
getting
people's going to suffer that fate, Mike.
Rick Ross sitting there getting a manicure playing B-sides, man. I'm like, yo, man, like, what's going on? Mad Max with the super chat says, I'm going to throw another duo that never got the chance, but Big L and Hov. Based on that freestyle, I always go back to They Reckon Shop. Okay. Well, all right.
No.
Would you put Jay and Big L over Siegel and Jay?
No.
Because as an unofficial duo, and I like the unofficial trio where you got Scarface, Jay, and Siegel, but we're not going to go there. As an unofficial duo, I think that Jay and Siegel give a lot of people problems.
Yes. Yes.
So are we all on the same page that the number one unofficial duo is Raekwon and Ghost?
Yeah, it's Ray and Ghost.
Over Meth and Red?
Mike, it's really like this, Mike. It's like, go find songs better than the songs on Iron Man and the Purple Tape.
Yeah, it's hard. Because the Purple Tape's a top 5 album. So it's like...
Mike, but that's what I'm saying. You can go to Iron Man too, and it's like, oh, well, there's more of that.
Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, Nas is Tim Duncan, fundamental GOAT. AZ is Kevin Garnett. AZ and Kevin and KG are great, but they just don't have the output, the rings, that Nas and Timmy have. What do you think about that assertion?
I think Nas is more of a writer, and writers tell stories and have content. Yeah. A is more of a lyricist. That's what I mean, is that Nas's approach is Cool G rap like in terms of it's very street intensive, and actually New York street intensified. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's poetic like Rakim. A shit is more like Cool G rap, like even down to like the wordplay. But he doesn't really lay out concepts the way G-Rap does. It is more about his style, and I think that's the Brooklyn in him, because he delivers it very calm in a Kane-like fashion, but it's with Cool G-Rap's wordplay.
Anime Bros with the super chat, Anime Bros podcast, I'm sorry. He says, Jay-Z and Jay Electronica are elite. What do you think of them as a pairing?
Next.
I feel, I'm going to be real, man, and I love them both. I think they're great individually, but this is more of a Black Star conversation where it looks better on paper than it does in real output. And that's no disrespect to Black Star. I just feel like we fell in love with the notion of Yasin and Talib being a duo more so than what we actually got. Is that fair?
Talib's birthday the other day.
Yes, one of the greats. Talib is one of the greats. Will Cashgrow with the super chat says, style-wise, AZ is like if you put Nas and Jay-Z in one. Sometimes he goes in the Nas pocket, and sometimes, I guess to say sometimes he go in the... I mean, he's from Brooklyn.
Hey, let me ask you something.
Uh-huh.
Do you think AZ all time, all things considered, or based on our rubric, is greater than Cool G Rap or Big Daddy Kane?
No. Not Kane.
What makes you say that, though? Because neither one... Because I'll tell you what, they don't have 4 albums or 5 albums like he has. They don't have the gold and platinum plaques that he has. They don't have the guest appearance resume that he has. And lyrically, do I think he's better than either one of those guys? Well, not necessarily, but I believe very few men who have ever done this have been better than those two guys, lyrically speaking.
All right, this is what I would say when it comes to Kane. He's such a trailblazer. His longevity,
So ridiculous.
yeah, and his memorable appearances. Kane is a star, always has been, and he's so lyrical. He's so much of a star, you forget how lyrical he is. I think for people like AZ, it shines through how lyrical he is because that's his, strongest attribute in that sense. Kane, he's such a star that you forget the lyricist that he is. Ain't No Half Steppin' is such a banger. You forget how hard he's going on that record. And
it's absurd.
Biggie's kind of like that in a sense too. And all of the guys who come from that tree, I mean, I remember going back as an adult, listening to the One More Chance remix, not realizing how hard this nigga's going on all three verses because this song is such a hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're forgetting, like, these are bars. And I think that makes Kane a little bit different. Now, when it comes to Cool G Rap, I mean, you got a real good argument there because they both do similar things.
I think they do.
AZ doesn't jump off the page to me like Kane does.
So it wouldn't be an unfair assertion to think that he's comparable to a Cool G Rap.
Yeah.
Well, that makes him top 25 in my book.
Mad Max to the super chat says, is Ray and Ghost a duo or is it Ray, Ghost, and Meth? Well, I was going to say Ray, Ghost, and Kappa, actually. Because, I mean, they made an album together, Ray, Ghost, and Meth, but, I mean, that was well past, when we were projecting get an album like that. But the big bangers that we talk about, like, obviously, Ice Cream, when Method Man's on the hook, but I was going to say Ice Water and stuff like that, Kappa's right there.
I mean, it's the thing about all the records that are between just those two albums specifically. Like, how about this? Like, everything Ray and Ghost are on together, like, from the time you hear them on Into the Wu-Tang to pretty much about 97. Like, because they're fire on Wu-Tang Forever, too. That's what I'm saying, Mike. No, Older Gods with Jizza, the MGM, Impossible. It's like, no, they're fire on records. You know what I'm saying?
Anime Bros Podcast says, Coop, you rated Written Testimony a 9.
It's also the only stuff they've ever done together. Why would we talk about Jay-Z and Jay Electronica when they've done one project together and we don't know if either one of them is ever going to release an album again?
It's always funny when people throw your ratings back at you, man, because it's like, it's hard to rate albums. And one thing you don't know is how long something's going to stay around. You can only guess.
That was the first album we ever reviewed on this podcast, right. Too, by the way.
I love the fact that people were that in tune where they still remember that, because I didn't even remember what you gave it. But I remember we had a conversation about it.
It was literally our first episode.
It reminds me of the Source magazine giving Doggy Style 4 mics. But I would have to think they knew that wasn't a 4-mic album, man. They knew that wasn't a 4-mic album. I posted the other day on Akumenai's anniversary that Akumenai was the first album not recorded in New York to get 5 mics. That's a staggering stat. It really
1998.
It took all the way up into 1998. They started in what, 90 with the ratings? It went from 90 to 98, and these are all the albums that got 5 mics. It was what? Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em. Let me go in order. Tribe's first album, People's Instinctive. Then it was America's Most, and for the people who don't know, America's Most was recorded in New York, produced by the Bomb Squad, Public Enemy's crew. Then you got, I want to say, Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em. I think All for One was one of those, right?
I feel like All for One is before Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em.
Okay, yeah. Yes. And then again, Low End Theory, I'm not going in order at this point. And I think Low End Theory, then that's when we get to Illmatic. Then we get to
that's 6.
Life After Death.
They didn't give Life
7.
After Death 5 out the gate.
They did.
Did they?
They did. Because I remember it was after Big passed, and a lot of people thought it was because he passed. They gave it 5 out the gate. So that's 7 albums. And then we get to 98, and I think Akumenai's the 8. That's just off the top of my head, but I know it was the first album that was recorded outside of New York that got 5. And I remember the articles about Source Magazine getting bomb threats because they gave Akumenai 5 mics. But saying all that to say, it is so wild that the East Coast bias in the Source Magazine was that strong, and we didn't realize it when we were young. We just thought they knew everything. We thought the Doggy Style not getting 5 or the Chronic not getting 5 was just a misstep.
It's not totally fair to them because they missed the infamous and only built for Cuban Links and Enter the Wu-Tang too.
Well, they fucked over. I don't know why they fucked over the Wu-Tang like that in the Source. It's very strange.
All 5s.
I think the Wu-Tang was getting the Griselda treatment. You could make an argument
for Liquid Swords being a 5.
I think Wu-Tang was getting the Griselda treatment in New York at the time. I think that Staten Island being the forgotten borough worked against them. Mad Max with the Super Chat says, I think you're sleeping on L and Hove. I mean, are we? The freestyle was great.
No, we're not.
Because to me,
there's not enough material to even put us to sleep.
I don't even think that their styles are comparable with each other in that way. Like, I think L's style was more comparable to Jay-Z's older style. The real duo when you're talking about Jay is Jay and Sauce Money to me. Now that is the match. Jay and Sauce Money are awesome together.
I like the Jay Sauce Money pairing.
Yeah, until Jay and Siegel got together.
Crew, put your guns up in the air if you feel me.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says, exactly. The song that you don't like. Mad Max of the Super Chat says, all right, Coop, relax. G-Rap and Kane, bro. AZ don't have Set It Off, and I'm not about to tell you about Machine Gun Rap, G-Rap. Yeah, man.
I was just asking questions.
Just asking
questions.
Esquire with the Super Chat says, A and G-Rap, AZ and G-Rap are comparable, but G-Rap gets the edge. He was more influential and ahead of his time, Road to Riches, Wanted Dead or Alive, 4, 5, 6, and yeah, L and LD are great. The impact and influence is very, very tough to stop.
Yes.
It's just what it is.
I agree. I was just asking questions.